Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back with another video. In this video, today we're talking about the Week 15 football picks prediction discussion, that whole thing there. So as you might have noticed, like I said before, I held off on this series until now, until we got closer to the playoffs, because the last video in this series I did was in the Thanksgiving week where there were no bye weeks, all 32 teams played. So the video was really long and I had to cut things out and it just wasn't efficient. So the plan was, and still is, as you can see here, that I was going to wait until we got closer to the playoffs, because now every single game matters, or almost every single game. Everything's got playoff implications. So it makes it a lot more interesting, a lot more, juicy, a lot more to discuss here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the first game, Thursday night game tonight. Seattle Seahawks, LA Rams, get the hell out of here. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Simply for the reason because as far as the Seahawks are concerned, and every team's this way, every team has another team that just, for whatever reason, beats them. Like, I guess the most recent example here is the Cowboys and the Giants. The only team that the Cowboys have lost to this season is the Giants twice, and they're in their division. I mean, I can go down the list and tell you every team sort of arch nemesis here, if you will. And for the Seahawks, I think that's the Rams. I know they play in the same division, the NFC West, so they play each other more often than any other team. But for some reason, the Rams, with all the problems they've had this season, I mean, they just fired their head coach, which I don't know what that's going to fix. I mean, they fired him after they just extended him for 2 years. I don't know what the logic was there. I don't know if after they signed him, they thought he's just going to miraculously improve and the team's going to be unbelievable again. I don't know what the thinking was there. But anyway, so they got rid of him, so you'd think, oh, this game's a lock for the Seahawks. I wouldn't say that, simply because for some reason the Rams have no trouble beating the Seahawks. I don't know what it is. For some reason, when the Seahawks play the Rams, they just have trouble. I don't know why. The last few years, the Rams have beaten the Seahawks more often than not. So this is not a Seattle lock for, by any stretch. However, I am going to give this game to Seattle just because of, just the insurmountable problems that the Rams have at this point. But it'll be a close game, closer than you'd think. Next game up here, and this game here is just a testament to the season in the NFL this year. I mean, this season here, and I guess it's a good thing, teams that you thought were going to be great or terrible, teams that you thought would be terrible or great. I mean, who would have thought before the season started, when Tony Romo went down, that the Cowboys would be number one in the NFC? Who would have thought that the Oakland Raiders would be in the conversation for the first time in forever in the AFC? Who would have thought that the Panthers would be in the basement of the NFC? I mean, so many predictions are wrong here. I mean, this season here has really been a season of surprises, which I guess is a good thing, because you kind of want to spread the wealth, if you will. I mean, it's been the same teams every year, so I guess it's a good thing for fans of other teams. And so this next game up here is really just a testament to that. The Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. For some reason, this game's on Saturday night. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's in another country or what the reason is there. I'm sure I could look it up. I don't want to waste time. But for some reason, it's a Saturday night game. Usually, you don't see that until the playoffs. Do they do that? Whatever. So the Dolphins here, kind of sticking with what I said before, who would have thought they'd be in the conversation in Week 15? I mean, really. I mean, this is... So, they're fighting for a wild card spot as well. So I think that's just kind of interesting. For the first time in forever, they're kind of in the conversation here. So they're playing the Jets. The Jets are garbage. The Dolphins are going to win, of course. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to discuss here. The Jets, oh my God, the Jets this season. We've kind of talked about this before. You get the idea. I've got the Dolphins winning this game. Next game up, Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens is an early game on Sunday. So the Eagles showed so much promise. I mean, I think after they're not coming into the season, people kind of write off the Eagles since, kind of like the early 2000s Donovan McNabb days. But after their 3-0 start, people thought, oh man, this team's for real. This is a team that's arrived, right? And I won't say they've kind of gone back to their old selves, because they're a lot better. I mean, I almost said Dak Prescott. I mean, it's not up there with Dak Prescott, but I think it's definitely respectable given what happened to the Eagles last season, given what's happened to them these last few years here. So they've kind of, they've turned it around. I mean, they're not a playoff team by any stretch, but they're an improved team. I definitely give them that. The Ravens, on the other hand, just lost to New England. It was the Monday night game. It was actually a great game. I don't know what it's about Monday night games. I like watching Monday night games. So I did watch that one. Several things jumped out at me about the Ravens in that game. First of all, I had no idea. Apparently, there's a rivalry between the Patriots and the Ravens. I guess when you look at their history, I guess there kind of is. I know they don't play in the same division. Ravens are in the AFC North. Patriots are in the AFC East. However, more often than not, it always comes down to those two teams, especially the last, 7 seasons here. But I will say this, the Ravens are a team that shows up at this point in the season. I mean, they are, maybe not last year, but a perennial playoff team. I mean, they show up, definitely in this part of the season. However, so doesn't Pittsburgh, and they both play in the AFC North, and I think Pittsburgh's turning it on at the right time here. So unfortunately, I don't think the Ravens have what it takes down the stretch. However, I do think they have what it takes to beat the Eagles on Sunday. Next game, oh God, the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills. Of course, Buffalo's going to win this game because Cleveland's really just that terrible. I don't want them to be 0-16. Like, I feel like they got to win a game. Or maybe, you know what, maybe 0-16 is kind of what it takes for them. Maybe they want the top draft pick. Maybe that's what they need. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of subject matter here. I got Buffalo winning this game. Next game up here, get the hell out of here. The Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. I got the Green Bay Packers winning this game. They just blew at Seattle. I think, you know, to save their playoff hopes here, they have to win every last game, I guess, to finish. I think 10-6. They have to win every remaining game to finish 10-6. I think that's what it is. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You know, write a comment. I think that's what it looks like at this point. So Aaron Rodgers said, you know, like I think it was like a month ago, we have to run the table now. We have to win every last game. And it seems like they've been doing that. So I don't know if they can kind of finish strong here. They had a really strong showing against Seattle, who just really kind of laid an egg in that game. So anyways, I got the Packers winning this game. Next game up here, another early game on Sunday. Get the hell out of here. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are scary. They are a scary team. And I know they haven't had the strongest season up until this point, but they are turning it on at this point. Big Ben, Antonio Brown, they are dialing it up. I mean, it's not really just offense, but defensively especially. Their defense was trash for a lot of the season. Their secondary is improved. They're getting it together like they do every year. They always turn it on in the final stretch here. They're a scary team when they turn on. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know what it is. I think it's kind of me. I don't know. I have certain feelings towards certain teams, and the Steelers are a team that I just think you don't want to play them in the playoffs because they just have a knack for turning it on at this point in the season here, and that's what they're doing. So they're going to beat the Bengals. No problem there. Next game up, oh God, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston Texans. Yeah, why not? I got the Texans just because of the fact that the Texans always have that short-lived playoff run every year that kind of always happens with them just because the AFC South is garbage. So I've got the Houston Texans winning this game. Next game up. Oh, get the hell out. Well, I guess maybe not. Kansas City Chiefs, Tennessee Titans. I guess it's going to be really cold this game. I think this point in the season you start to check the weather. I checked the weather for some of these teams. I guess this game is going to be really cold. I think they were saying here it's going to be the coldest game Marcus Mariota's playing. I think he's from Hawaii, right? And I guess it's going to be 14 degrees in Kansas City on Sunday. So freezing game for him. Not only that, I mean, friggin' Tamba Ali, Houston, they're going to be dial up in this game. Kansas City is another scary team. I think just as far as the AFC is concerned, I'll just talk about that for a second. So it seems like here, barring catastrophe, the Broncos might actually not make the playoffs just because the Raiders and the Chiefs are in the same division, and they're better than the Broncos this season. I think the Dolphins, the Ravens, and the Broncos are competing for a wild card spot here. So it's interesting. So Kansas City they're probably not going to get the number one seed. I think the Patriots are going to get the number one seed because the Patriots schedule after they play Denver this week, which we'll talk about that. That's going to be that's the game of the week right there. I think when I make the footage for this video, I think that's going to be the game. It's going to be New England and Denver. But I think after that game for New England, I think they play. I don't know who they play. I think they just play like a couple of scrub teams. But I think they're going to get the number one seed. Where Kansas City, on the other hand, is already behind New England a game. So I think that given that and their more challenging schedule, I think that Kansas City will get the number 2 seed. I don't think they'll get the number 1 seed. In which case, you know, assuming they make it to the AFC Championship game, that game would take place at New England. Whereas if it took place in Kansas City gets dialed the hell up when they play at home. And they are a scary ass team at home. And it's going to be 14 degrees, so I don't really give Tennessee much of a shot here. So anyways, that's that. Kansas City's for real this season. Next game up here, oh God, we got the Indianapolis Colts and the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, honestly, whoever's at home here, who's at home? It's Minnesota. All right, I got Minnesota winning this game. Close game, though. Next game up here, this is another good game. This could also be a game of the week contender here. Seems like the NFC is really going to come down to a few teams here. Cowboys, Lions, Giants. So this is a game with serious playoff implications. The Giants just beat who's at home here? The Giants again. They got another home game. All right. Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna stick with that. I got Detroit winning this game. Screw that. I got Detroit. Detroit has arrived this season. I've got them winning. And also the Giants just beat the Cowboys. It took them everything they had to do that. So I think it's kind of time for it to go the other way. I've got Detroit winning this game. Next game up. New Orleans Saints, Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's at home. I got the Saints winning this game because they just lost. Arizona really isn't that good at playing football this season. They're kind of really not living up to what people expected. So yeah, I've got the Saints winning this game. Next game up here, get the hell out of here. Atlanta Falcons, San Francisco 49ers. I've got the Falcons. The Falcons are good. I mean, don't let their record and what's kind of happened down the stretch here deceive you. I think and against a garbage team like San Francisco, they're going to put up quite the score on Sunday. Next game up, game of the week right here. New England, Denver. This is, if you've paid any attention to football, you know that every season it kind of, for the last, really for a lot of years here, really for a long time, going back to I don't know if it was 2005 or 6 when these two teams played each other in the playoffs. This has turned into quite the rivalry between these two teams. And by rivalry, I guess it's not much of a rivalry because I think Tom Brady's 2-7 in Denver. They're really not good when they play there. And conversely, when Denver plays in New England, they're not good there either. And they're not in the same division, but they play each other all the time. I don't know what it is. I know the way the NFL scheduling works is you play everybody in your division twice, once at home, once on the road. Then you play an NFC division and an AFC division and then 2 other teams. And the way it works out is for some reason these teams are always playing each other. I don't know what it is. So last season, I was just pulling this up for this video. The Patriots lost the regular season game in Denver, and then Denver won again in the AFC Championship game in Denver. Denver is made out of friggin' kryptonite for a lot of teams. I mean, first of all, the altitude, the crowd noise, the pass rush. It's a very hard place to play. The weather, I was looking at the weather. I think it's going to be -4 for this game. -4. That's what it's going to be when they play this game. So get ready for that. So that's definitely going to affect the game. And just combine all those things together, I really don't. Most years, I would say all the Patriots aren't going to win this game. Except this year, and I'll tell you why. Denver cannot run the ball, nor can they stop the run. They just cannot seem to do that this season. Since C.J. Anderson went out, they've had no cognizable run game really to speak of. It used to be the other way around when these two teams played last season. I remember watching the AFC Championship game. The Patriots, I think, had no run game in that game. They just could not run the ball, made them one-dimensional. Whereas now this year, it's kind of the other way around. And I'll tell you this, if you've ever played football before, you know this is true. When it's cold, never mind -4, just when it's cold in general, you don't want, if you've got a guy coming downhill at you, a running back who you need to make a tackle, when it's that cold, you really do not want to go in for that hit. You do not want to drop a shoulder and take that guy out. So the Patriots running game here, I forget whatever the guy's name is there, very stocky fellow there. When he gets going to full speed, never mind the fact that Denver can't stop the run. When it's that cold, you don't want to stop the run. So I think combine that with the fact that Denver can't run, they're going to be one-dimensional. And the fact that I think the Patriots are going to be pissed off going into this game just because the fact they lost to this team both times last year. I mean, Baltimore's the team that's kind of always had New England's number, and New England kind of kicked their ass on Monday night. So I think that they're going to kind of go in and return the favor from I think they've got some unfinished business with Denver, so I've got New England winning this game. Next game up, Oakland Raiders, San Diego Chargers. You know what? Upset of the week. I got the Chargers winning this game. I mean, I guess it's not much of an upset. I mean, I guess San Diego's okay. Obviously, they're not as good as the Raiders, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Raiders here. It seems like Derek Carr, as good as he is, I mean, he was an MVP candidate for a long time. It seems like he's kind of been unseated here by, his performance last week. I mean, that really... He was not good there. I know he's dealing with the injured finger, but rookie teams typically, their first year that they're dominant, tend to lay an egg late in the season. I mean, we kind of saw it happen last season with the Panthers. The Panthers were this hot young team that was coming out, and they crapped their pants in the Super Bowl. I kind of feel, and this is controversial, but I kind of feel the same way about the Cowboys. I feel like, a team that's led by 2 rookies at, the 2 main positions, quarterback, running back, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, just rookie teams down the stretch, not down the stretch, but just in big spots when there's a lot on the line, can kind of crop their pants. It's just kind of how it works. So it seems like that's starting to happen with Oakland here. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like this could be an upset of the week. So I got San Diego winning this game if Oakland won. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised, but there you have it. Next game up here, Sunday night. Oh, you know what? This could have been another game of the week if Tampa Bay, and they were a really good team this year. I mean, they just kind of beat Seattle there a few weeks ago. Nobody really saw that coming. If Tampa Bay had more of a reputation these last few seasons, if they were really, if they had the name recognition of the Seahawks or something like that, this could be a game of the week here. Because really, if you think about it, how many big games has Dallas had? I mean, they haven't really played the Seahawks or any, big names like the Patriots or whatever. So other than the Giants, who swept the season series against the Cowboys for some reason, just the Giants have the Cowboys number. It's just kind of one of those things. It's kind of like I said before with the Rams and the Seahawks. Other than them, the Cowboys are undefeated, other than losing to the Giants twice. And to be honest with you, the Cowboys did not look that great on Sunday night. It seems like kind of they've been... I'm not going to go as far as to say they've been falling apart, because that's really not true. However, as time has gone on here, Dak Prescott has cooled off. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, they've kind of cooled off a little bit. I guess you could say that. Just statistics-wise, they've kind of come down these last few weeks. I got Tampa Bay winning this game, because Tampa Bay is just coming out of nowhere this season and just upsetting teams. I got Tampa Bay. Screw it. Last game, Monday night game, Washington Redskins, Carolina Panthers. Carolina is not that good this season. I've got Washington winning this game. Just Carolina, they're just kind of... It's going to be interesting to see what happens to them after the season. Obviously, their defense needs a lot of work. They have to figure out a Josh Norman replacement plan here. I mean, their secondary's trash. Defense can't do a whole lot. Cam Newton is not Superman anymore like he was alleged to be last season until Von Miller was putting him on his ass in the Super Bowl. But yeah, don't let Carolina's few good performances this year fool you. They're really not that great. So I've got Washington winning this game. So with that, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Next week's going to be week 16. And I think what I'm going to do next week is we'll do the picks, and I'll kind of tell you, because it's going to be pretty much all but locked in at that point. I'm just going to tell you what I think the playoff standings are going to be and kind of what I think is going to happen there. And we'll get more into that in the week 17 video, of course. But other than that, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching.